Before the story begins, let me ask you something. Have you ever been someone's almost, someone's safe place, someone they leaned on when the world got loud, but you were never sure if you were the one? If that question hits close to home, stay with me until the very end, because this story is for you. And if stories like this make you feel a little less alone, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It genuinely helps more stories like this reach the people who need them most. She told her parents I was her boyfriend without warning me. That was the moment everything changed. We were standing in her childhood kitchen, the kind with faded tiles and a fridge covered in old magnets and handwritten reminders. Her mother was stirring tea, her father pretending not to stare too hard at me, and her younger brother was already smirking like he knew something I didn't. My heart was beating faster than it ever had, and I wasn't even the one who spoke the words. "This is him," she said casually, squeezing my arm. "My boyfriend." Boyfriend. The word echoed in my head louder than the kettle screaming on the stove. I smiled. Of course I did. I shook her father's hand. I laughed at her mother's jokes. I played along so well that no one would have guessed my entire understanding of reality had just tilted sideways. Because until that moment, I thought we were something undefined. Close. Comfortable. Emotional. But never officially that. We met 2 years earlier in the most unremarkable way possible. Same bus stop, same time every morning, both pretending not to notice each other while secretly doing exactly that. She always carried a book she never seemed to read. I always wore earphones with no music playing. One rainy morning, the bus was late, her umbrella broke, and I offered to share mine. That was it. No sparks, no dramatic music, just two people walking a little closer than strangers usually do. We started talking after that. About work, about dreams we were scared to admit out loud, about families that loved us but didn't always understand us. She told me about the pressure she felt to be perfect, to settle down, to make her parents proud. I told her about my fear of not being enough for anyone, about always being the supportive one but never the chosen one. Somewhere along the way, I became her person. The one she called when she couldn't sleep. The one she texted when she had a bad day. The one she brought to weddings so she wouldn't have to answer uncomfortable questions alone. People assumed we were together, and we never really corrected them. It felt easier that way. Safer. But safe doesn't mean clear. She leaned on me when life overwhelmed her, and I was happy to be there. I told myself that love didn't need labels, that being close to her was enough. But every time she talked about her future in vague terms, someday, maybe, who knows, a small part of me wondered if I was just filling space until someone better came along. That night at her parents' house, after dinner plates were cleared and polite conversations faded into the background, we sat outside on the porch. The air was cool, the kind that makes you feel exposed even when you're fully dressed. She looked relaxed, almost relieved, like she'd finally told a truth she'd been holding back. "You didn't have to say that," I finally said, my voice quieter than I intended. She frowned. "Say what?" "That I'm your boyfriend." She was silent for a moment. Then she said, "But you are, aren't you?" The question landed heavy between us. "I don't know," I admitted. "That's kind of the problem." She looked hurt, not angry, which somehow felt worse. "I just needed them to stop asking questions," she said. "They're always pushing, always assuming I'm alone because something's wrong with me. I needed them to see I wasn't." I nodded, understanding her reasons but still feeling like I'd been used as proof rather than chosen as a partner. That night, I lay awake in the guest room, staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment we'd ever shared. I realized something uncomfortable. I had been there for all her fears, but she had never really faced mine. When we got back to the city, things felt different. Not cold, but heavier. More real. People started calling me her boyfriend openly now, and she didn't correct them. She held my hand in public, leaned into me more, smiled like we were building something. And yet, every time I thought about the future, I felt unsure whether she saw me in it, or just the role I played. Weeks passed. Then months. One evening, after a long day where everything felt slightly off, we sat on my couch, the TV playing something neither of us was watching. She was talking about her parents again, about how happy they were, how relieved they felt knowing she wasn't alone. That's when the words slipped out before I could stop them. Am I the someone? I asked. She turned to me, confused. What? Am I the someone you actually want? I said, my voice shaking despite my efforts to stay calm, or am I just the someone who was there when you needed to prove something? The silence that followed was brutal. No dramatic tears. No yelling. Just honesty taking its time. She looked down at her hands. I don't know, she said quietly. And there it was. The truth I'd been afraid of, finally spoken. She told me she cared about me deeply. That I made her feel safe. That life felt easier with me in it. But when I asked if she loved me the way she imagined loving her future partner, she couldn't say yes. Not yet. Maybe not ever. It hurt more than I expected, even though I'd seen it coming. Because hope, when left unchecked, grows roots. And pulling it out leaves a mess. We didn't end things dramatically. We talked. We cried. We admitted our mistakes. She admitted she hadn't meant to hurt me, but intentions don't erase impact. I admitted I should have asked for clarity sooner instead of settling for comfort. Walking away from her was one of the hardest things I've ever done. For weeks, everything reminded me of her: the bus stop, rainy mornings, quiet conversations. But slowly, something else started to grow in that empty space: self-respect. Months later, we ran into each other by chance. She looked happy, calmer somehow. We talked like old friends. Before we parted, she said, "You were never just someone filling space. You were real. I just wasn't ready." I smiled, and for the first time, it didn't hurt. Because I had learned something important. Being chosen halfway isn't the same as being chosen fully. And love, real love, doesn't leave you questioning your place in someone else's life. If you've ever been someone else's almost, someone else's backup, someone else's convenient truth, remember this: you deserve to be the answer, not the option. You deserve someone who doesn't hesitate when introducing you, someone who doesn't need a reason to claim you, someone who knows without being asked. If this story resonated with you, take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this are shared for anyone who needs a reminder that their feelings matter, and their place in someone else's life should never be uncertain. And if you're still waiting for clarity from someone else, maybe it's time to give it to yourself.